Varanasi. Hindus come here to wash away their sins in the river Ganga. Some come here to die and be cremated. But Varanasi isn't just India's holiest city. It's also famous for handcrafted sarees with silk and gold thread. With their distinctive look and feel, Banarasi silk sarees are a byword for elegance. They're a must-have for stylish Indian women. The fabrics are spun on jacquard looms, operated by a string of punch cards that determine the designs for the weave. The looms are powered by foot. The physically demanding work is mostly done by men. It can take the weavers weeks to make a single sari. But scenes like this are increasingly rare. The centuries-old artistic tradition is dying out. In the past, there would have been a wooden handloom in every home. Entire families in these villages around Varanasi were involved in weaving. Skills were passed on from generation to generation until this happened. In the last decade, Varanasi has seen the arrival of machines churning out cheap saris and nearly wiping out the handloom industry. Ashok Kumar Maurya, a weaver, made the switch 8 years ago. He sold his 15 handlooms and invested in power looms instead. Many of his former artisans were forced to look for work in other sectors. It makes me very sad that our craft is dying. But I have to embrace new technology in order to make a living. Production is now much faster. I don't have to do back-breaking work anymore. Unlike handlooms, these machines can run during the day as well as at night. And I make much more money. In the old markets of Varanasi, there's hardly a trace of the city's once rich weaving tradition. Machine-made fabric and imported Chinese-made yarn dominate the trade here. But there is a solution to save the handloom industry. Jitendra Kumar is a designer in Varanasi. His company still makes a few handmade saris for the high-end Indian market. They can retail for upwards of $2,000. But the market is changing.
When we show them this as a garment, then they get excited.
Kumar now mainly produces handcrafted fabrics for luxury fashion houses in the US and in Europe. They end up as designer wear on catwalks. Prices can be as high as $400 a meter.
So see, the time is changed now.
Times have changed. There isn't much of a market left in India for pure handloom saris. The industry needs to reinvent itself. We chose to go with international buyers because they really value craftsmanship and handmade products. And they're willing to pay much higher prices. Back in the village, that has allowed Kumar to employ 32 families on a regular basis. The weavers here earn between $120 to $250 a month, depending on the work and their skill. It's way above the market rate. The hope is that it will encourage artisans to stay true to their unique craft.
When you create something with your hand, with your brain, your muscle, that's put some emotion, that effort. And that thing makes it incredible in a textile. And you see the process is a bitting. When they comes, they throw the shuttle from that side and from that side. They beat tightly. So it's so the mood. It's all frustration or all our happiness. It comes in a loom. So I think it's incredible to see in terms of textile. You can't see the emotion, but here you can.
Making a single piece of hand-woven fabric involves an entire chain of artisans specialized in different skills. Up to 16 different workers are part of the process. For the artisans, weaving for the global market means adapting their know-how and learning to innovate. Chedi Ram began weaving when he was 10 years old, learning the skills from his own father. He's been making silk saris all his life.
With
With these modern designs, I really have to concentrate. The finish and craftsmanship for these fabrics has to be perfect. I can't afford to make any mistakes because then I have to restart the entire process. I have to constantly check the design when I'm weaving. It takes longer than making a sari. Initiatives like Kumar's are helping to sustain the artisans and keep the craft alive, at least for now.
Combination is not.
But change seems inevitable, and the future remains uncertain.
I would love to show you this. There is no younger weaver anymore in this craft, and the problem is that their aspirational goal, they basically this whole craft for them it's a surviving. Yeah, it's the biggest challenge because after 10 years, there's no weavers at all in this industry.
If Varanasi's remaining handlooms were to fall completely silent, it would mark the disappearance not just of a craft, but of a way of life.